like somebody, if you have missed it, they can actually hear it later. So see, with all this advanced evolution of technologies, still we all agree to the point that application development is not that easy. Why? The screen says it all. See how many elements we need to consider to build an applications, like how many technologies, like how fast they are changing, the device types, browsers we need to support, and how about their integrations. So it's a complex world, right? So but at the end of the day, what really matters, the single focus is all about delivering the solutions, right? It has no significance like how many lines of code we write, the language we choose, the framework, IDE, tools, nothing matters. What really matters is that what we deliver, what they want. So here I would like to draw your attention to low code. What is low code? So if you see at the left side of the screen, it's a simple flowchart of a function which we wanted to develop in our application. So any guesses, like with any programming language, how many lines of code we wanted to write to get an output of this?
It should be more than 100 lines of code, or less than that.
Any guesses? You don't even want to guess?
100 lines, 200 lines.
Okay. Yeah, almost 50 to 100 minimum.
Minimum.
Yeah. So if you look at the right side, you can see this is how we do it in OutSystem. Can you imagine something simpler and easier than this? Okay. So now I'll introduce OutSystems. So OutSystem is the most powerful low-code platform in the world, and it is founded in 2001 in Lisbon, Portugal. And look at its global presence now. And by 2024, it is estimated that 65% of the development activity will be low-code based. So that's the significance of low-code. So now I'll take you to more technical aspects of it. So if you're going back to IT to deliver an application that supports the business, the traditional way is more manual, slow, require a lot of resources. But on the other hand, OutSystem, every process in OutSystem is automated, rapid, and optimized. So let me explain OutSystem capabilities in a nutshell. What sets OutSystem apart and makes a number one? OutSystem supports full stack development. So if you're working in a normal project, each resources will be divided into different areas, like some into front end, back end, some into integration, and so on, right? But an OutSystem, it provides the full leverage of developing a full system. So you can see on your screen, this is OutSystem IDE actually. It's a visual environment. So here you can develop, you create your own screen, logics, processes, and database. So all the developments done in this OutSystem Service Studio is through easy drag and drop options. So when I talk about drag and drop options, many of you might have some confusions or concerns about how we can build something highly customized. So because we have wide varieties of systems that we need to connect with. So you can integrate your existing system via APIs. And we have out-of-box integrations to varieties of databases that you may have already have. So beyond that, OutSystem itself is extensible. You can actually code your own connectors if you need. Best of all, we have an extensive open source library. It's called OutSystem Forge with with thousands of pre-built components and connectors. So why reinvent the wheel? So you can just use it. It's already ready. So these all features makes OutSystem faster, like development faster. So you can find this forge in outsystem.co /forge. So, while talking about building fast, see, the building fast wouldn't matter if we cannot deliver fast with at least minimum amount of risk. So, out most of the time in the project, we spend in the deployment, maintenance, and support. So, OutSystem has out-of-box features for DevOps, for risk-free deployment, and even you can integrate with your own CI or CD tools. You can easily monitor your app usage using dashboards. So you can even ensure that you're building secure performance and apps built in the best architecture. So everything built in very easy to understand manner. So so on the whole, OutSystem has all the capabilities to develop simple to highly complex mobile app, even offline capable PWS web apps, even core apps that can support chatbots or any visual or voice integrators that can enhance user interaction experience to another level. So these are some of our OutSystem partners, and it's growing. And here is the references for you. If you are interested in OutSystems, more, you need to learn more on that. Here are the OutSystem website link and OutSystem training link and forum and community discussion link. So I should talk about forum and community discussion actually. OutSystem has a very active and enthusiastic forum. Like if you are stuck with any of this process, you can get help and solution from this forum, and we have a good amount of active members here. And forge, as I said, OutSystem library, here is the link. And if you're interested in taking any of the certifications, you can go in certification link. And it's time for demo, so you will have the real experience now. So, and something exciting is waiting for you as well. So, over to Momin Rias.
Yeah, before moving to demo, let's see if anyone has any doubt or something to be asked.
Yeah.
You can respond in the chat or you can turn on your mic. Any questions?
Not so far.
That's great. If anyone has any questions during the period, they can ask or they can even email us even after the demo. No worries. So, shall we start with the demo?
Yeah.
Now, let's start with the demo. So, before starting with OutSystems, we need to know where we can find OutSystems or where we can start with OutSystems. You can directly go to the OutSystems URL where you can get your personal environment, a free environment from here. OutSystem provide you with a personal environment where you can go to this URL and you can start filling your details, email and all those details, and there you can register for the free environment. Once you register for the free environment, you will get this type of screen where you will get the personal environment. You can see your personal environment name and all those stuffs. You can start downloading the Service Studio. The Service Studio is the IDE used for developing the applications using OutSystem platform. So I already had done it, so I can directly show you how it will look like. Here is the Service Studio. Okay. Once you download the Service Studio, you have the option to log into the Service Studio where you'll enter the details and you can log into the Service Studio directly. This is a basic view of our system Service Studio. Now to start with an application, here we have some options like we can start with a new application. There is an option for installing from Forge. As Neha explained earlier, in Forge we have a lot of components and a lot of applications being pre-built by other users. You can start developing by that application or you can start getting the components which can be useful for your application from Forge. If you go to the Forge tab, here's the part where you can actually see the OutSystem components. There are a large number of components available in OutSystems. Like if you have particular need, like you can directly check for the plugins or check for the components which can be used in your applications directly. Okay. Before starting the application, let's show you what we are trying to build today. It's a small application which is called like, and we can call it as Outgram, like mini version of the Instagram, like posting a post, getting a like by our post and all those stuffs. Okay, this application has three screens mainly. One is the login screen. If as a user you will not have a direct access, so you have the option to register for it. We can register with your details. Once you register, you'll go take back to the login screen. Once you log in, you can see all the posts done by the users of this application. And if you want to post a new post, you can directly click on here and you can add your image and you can add the description for it and you can post it, which will be available for other users also, where you have the options to like any post if you need. If you like any post, you can directly go and like that. So this is a basic application which we are trying to develop today. Let's start with the demo. Now we'll start with creating a new application. As you know, OutSystem is the low-code platform and it's a full-stack platform where you can develop even web applications, mobile applications, everything. And for the backend part of the or the front-end integrations, whatever it is, OutSystem make you as a full-stack developer. Normally, from the app development perspective, we'll work as a front-end developer, or sometimes we'll work as a back-end developer. Like our roles will be perspective for that domain. But our system give the leverage to work on the full end of the application or the full of the project. Even the front end, we can work on the logic, we can work on the backside. So once we click on a new application, we have the option whether we can start from an app with the app template, or we can start from the scratch. Here you can see build the reactive web application or the tablet application, even the mobile phone application. Let's go and click on mobile application. Let's name the application name. We can call it as Outstram. Okay, here you have the option to upload an icon. You can go and upload one icon. Let's take this icon. Okay. Here is the modules which we need to create to start with an application. In an application, you can have one or more modules. And then modules can be different types of a service module or the library module. Okay, let's start with the phone app. Now see the IDE. This is the first screen which we'll get once we start with the module. We can see here the processes tab, interface tab, logic tab, and data tab. We will play with interface and logic and data tab today. So interface is the consisting of the UI elements. All your UI elements will be coming under the interface tab. The logic tab is the one which will be consisting of the logic elements of your application, which to deal with the database or whatever logic you have to build, you're going to build it in interface logic tab. And this is the data tab, which is going to be used for the data consistency. Like you have the database entities and all those stuffs will be available over here, or we need to build it over here. So as I show the application out Scrum application which we're going to build it, we need to have a database table. Now in our systems we named as like the table of our systems is called as entities. All knows about the tables, like in our system it called as entity. So let's name the tab or the entity as post. Let's add the attribute. In normal way we'll call it as columns. Here we'll make it as attributes. Here we need to have a post, and we need to know who created this post, and we need to have a picture for this post and a description. Make the length of description like around 500, and we'll have a date when it is being posted or created on. Okay, now we created a basic post structure to hold the post which we're gonna use for this application, or we can add to this post database. Now once we have this one, and OutSystems, it has an inbuilt users table. Like all the OutSystem application will have a inbuilt users table which is already there, so we're not gonna add new users for this. Okay, now before starting, let's start with the registration screen. So here we can see this. Just a minute. Once you click on new screen, you will get this screen. Okay, you will get this type of screen. Here you have the options to select a template for this new application or new screen. You can select the in pre-built templates, or you can start with the empty screen. Now let me start with the empty screen. Let's name it as registration. Okay. Okay. Call it as registration. Fine. Now here, this screen we are using it for register a new user. Once the user doesn't have an option like doesn't have an access to the application, he can register by himself. So let's take, you can see over here, these are the components or widgets which can be used for our system development. And this is the main screen layout for the mobile layout. Here you can see the content. Here this part is like a header part, and here you have the bottom part. In our systems, you can split it, or you can easily manage this part of UI over here. If you see this part, you can see what are the main layout, and you can see the header part, and you can see the title, the placeholders where we can put the title and all, and you have the content and you have the bottom part. Let's play with the content part. That's first we'll have a div tab. It is called a container in our systems. Okay, now let's have a form where you can search for. Here you can get the form. You can just drag and drop to the container, so it will expect, or it will be waiting for the form elements. Now for holding this one, like to create a new user, we'll have something called name. These are the local variables which we are creating now, which will hold all the values which you're going to type over there. And username, email. If you observe it, our system automatically detect the data type for the each attribute. If you name it as name, it's going to be text. If you make it as email, it's going to be shown data types already selected as data type as email. And you have the freedom to change the data type anytime if you want. And you'll have a password field, and you'll have a password confirm password field as well. Okay, now let's start it. Instead of writing lot of lines of code in our systems, you can directly drag and drop this element, the new variable, to the screen. It will create the UI directly for you. Name, username is as simple as it is. Password. And we have a confirm password. Now you can, if you see it, this button, we didn't create anything, like it is automatically created from the OutSystems, as the OutSystem knows that it's a form, and this form need to be submitted or do some actions for that. So this is the button which is going to be do the action. Now this button can be one. We can set this action. What action should be done once you click on this button? If you can see, these are the events which is waiting for this button. The on-click event, you can create. You can have the navigation option, or you can create a new action to operate or to execute on clicking on this button. Let's create one thing. Okay. Now, if you see the right side, you can see new save on click action has been created, and with some basic details, basic workflow inside that. Okay. And OutSystems provides you with the default data validation for the forms. If you see this one, here you can see built-in validations should be applicable or not. You have the options for it. Built-in validations are such things like that: the mandatory fields, the data types, or the data types for the variable or the field. If you see this, input type is email. If you see here, input type is text. So here you can have the basic input validations which is OutSystem providing on the screens, or you can have the options to modify that also. And let's create one more button to cancel it. So here you have two buttons now. So first button, it will save the details, and next button we need to, like, it's a registration screen. If you don't want to go to the new registration, you can click on this button, which can be used to navigate back to the login screen. Okay. Now let's do the basic flow, how it's supposed to work. Okay, now when we have the screen, we need to pass this data to the database. All these details should be passed to the database to create a new user. Now we'll go to, as you can see, this user database or user table or entity is already available with us. Now we'll create a logic to communicate from the front end to the database. For here, that we'll use server actions called as add new user. Okay, this action, we need to pass input parameters. We can make it as input parameters, pass the name, same thing which we need to pass to the database. The name, password, and email. Okay. Here, if you can see this, you have the option. Each entity or each table in OutSystems, it has built-in CRUD operations. It's ready with the tables or the entities. You can see create user or create an update user. Basic CRUD operations is already inbuilt with each attribute. If you want to do something much more or need to be have separate logic for dealing with the database, OutSystem provide you with the SQL advanced SQL feature where you can write your own SQL code for it. Just want to show you the page how it's going to be like. Yeah, over here you can write the SQL statements or SQL query how you want to deal with the database directly. But in OutSystems, it already for doing the transaction with the database, you have already inbuilt pre-built actions is available. So here we'll use create user action. Let's delete this one. Okay, create user action, it is expecting the data type of user. So let's go back. Let's create a local variable which is called users. So, okay, and we'll assign the variables, input variables, to this local variable. We'll create a new thing like over here like this. We'll map the username and passwords, username, password, and email. Currently we are not filling these details, so let's keep it empty or delete it. External ID, creation date. Here our system provides with the current date time function directly. Last login, let's delete it. is active, make it as true. Okay. Now once we set all the variables for this, we can add this variable or pass this variable to the action, create user action. Now this one is done. Like you can directly pass the variable and you can, it will be inserted to the database or to the entity. Now if go back to the save on click button, here we need to call this action. So we can directly drag and drop this action to the screen or the flow workflow, and we can pass the parameters which is required for the action. Username, password, and email. Okay. Before passing the password to the database, our system requires the hashed password or the encrypted password. Let's do it. As password as oh no, sorry, no, click it. No, from there. No, from there you remove HTML. No worries, let's continue. You can see it. No worries. What you can see from this? Okay, now it's fine. Please remove the HTML cable. Okay, now I think it's visible for you. Okay, is it visible? Yeah, fine. Let's use an input inbuilt function or our system provider function to encrypt the password. Okay, let's pass the username and password for this. Username and the password. And now we have the variable or the output of this encryption function. Use this encrypted password instead of direct saving the direct password. Okay. So before passing the data, we need to have a form validation. Now we need to check, as I shown you before, we have the inbuilt functions, inbuilt validation functions. Now we can have the custom functions, the custom validations, as the password and the confirm as password should be same, or you can add the password complexity. The password should be greater than this much number, or the it should be included the numbers and the numerics. All those stuffs we can add it over here. Now currently let's check it. Let's check whether the password is same as confirm password is both are same or not. If it is same, let's pass it true. Okay, let's go here. We can swap the connectors. Okay, if it is the same password, let's continue. If it's not the same password, you can show the error message for the users. You can go here, you can select from the widgets, from the form, the confirm password. It's not valid. And you can set the validation message. Password doesn't match. Okay. Then go for the join the line or join the workflow. So it will continue it. So once we add the new user, the user should be able to go back to the login screen. So you can directly make it this way. Select the login screen. Okay, that's it. So your registration screen is done. Now this is the button which we use for publishing the application. It is called one-click publish. Let's publish the application and see. During this publishing, you can see the status of publications, like what's happening behind the screen. It is generating the newer version of your application. It will do the compilation, and it will be optimizing for the database scripts. Whatever it is which we are provided with the application, it will be done from the backend. Okay, now we are done with the application. It's been published. So let's see how we can see how the application will look like. We have the application name. Here you can see the registration screen directly. Name, username, email. Let's try some email. Okay, this is what I was telling for the, or this one. Let's keep some other password. Okay, let's go for the okay, before this I just want to confirm built-in validations. Okay, okay, see, you can see these are the built-in validation from OutSystems. So it is not it is telling us it's not a valid password, but this one is a custom validation which we asked, or which we provider we customized it. The password doesn't match. This is a custom validation which we did. Okay, once we have a new user, Neha, and you can have an email, gmail.com, and let's have one password. When it tells that it's a password field, it will automatically hide the password for it. Now let's do it. We saved it. Okay, this is still telling it's not in valid password, valid email. Okay, hello, it is done. Now you are going back to the login screen. Fine. Now let's continue of creation of new one more screen, which is called post screen, or list. We list the posts over here. Okay, here you can see this. We need to show all the posts over there on that screen, so we can directly drag and drop this entity to the screen. It will ask for which type structure you would like to create with this entity. It's a list or the table. Let's go for the list now. You can see the post entities directly showing on the screen. Okay. Let's arrange the screen. How it look like. Let's make this image as okay. Let's show it on top. Okay, and let's make it as central aligned. Let's remove this one, so it's gonna look like this. Okay, here's a username, or let's change it to name of the user. Yeah, we have it, and the description and the date. Fine. Now this page is set. Now what we need to know, we need to do is, like, we need to insert a new post. So here we'll create an action to insert a new post. Okay, once we click on this one, it should take us to new page where we can enter the details, or provide the input the post to that. So let's click on here, and we can click on link to. Here we don't have the new screen created. So here from here directly we have the options to click on new screen, which will automatically create a new screen in our application. And we can select as a template, or we can select from the scratch as empty template. New post. Okay. Here we go. The new post screen is automatically created. Here we'll have new local variables, which is for one for picture, one for description. So, and we'll have Let's name as a header. Let's put some name for that for the screen. Over here, the title part. Let's add one text as new post. Okay. Container or the content widget. We'll have something. We can add a container over here, and we can add the form. Okay. Inside the form, we'll have two variables. One is for the picture and the one for description. So we have a widget, picture widget. We have an upload widget. Select it. We can file content. We can make it as picture. File name. Let's have a new local variable for it. Okay. Now we need to have a field or the input parameter for description. Over here, let's select the description field. Okay. Now we need to save this data to the database. For that, we'll create new container, apply to the description. We'll add new buttons. You can get it from buttons from widget, and submit the database, and one for canceling it, where it will redirect you to the post list page. As we've shown it before, similar way, we can click on this. We can create a new client action to deal with the database, to submit the data, and we can create a new server action which actually deals with the database. Create new post. This post, it needs the parameters like picture and the description, and we would like to create know who created this post, so his user ID. Okay, so here let's create one more local variable which is called post. This local variable holds the data which used for the post entity. We'll take the operations, the actions which is available with the post entity, and we'll pass the data as a post local variable. Before passing or before executing this action, we should set the values for the post local variable. Over here, you can select the post user ID as the input user, post picture as the input parameter which is passed. Okay, description as user passed description. Date, at this date we can directly take from the current date. Okay, now we have the server action. We can call this action inside the new post submit action over here. So it will execute. See, what happens once we fill the details, and if you click on submit, it will execute this workflow. In this workflow, we don't have custom validations. The form is valid. It will directly execute this action. Inside this action, we'll pass the local variables, the picture, the description, and user ID. Our system provides the current user ID directly from the applications. You can use it directly there. Okay, once it done, like the post is added, you can go back to the post list page. Okay, so now you have this. Let's make it one little bit better. Okay, let's select the default image, now photo 8, so it will be looking much more better for your application. Okay, now for the cancel button, we'll navigate back to the post screen. Okay, fine. Let's try to execute this. or deploy this application. Meanwhile, I'll change the default screen to the post. Instead of showing it for the registration, let's go for the post as a default. Once the publishing is done, you can see your output over here. Let's see. Last time we saw it like registration part. Now let's see for the application. Once the user login, let's see how it's gonna show it. Neha and the user. Let's go and click on this. Okay, now we are going to the post screen. Now we have a button which will navigate or take you to the new post screen, which will expect the image. Let's take an image. Let's write um, FIFA World Cup or any descriptions which you like and submit it. So now you can see in the post screen, you receive this one, the username who did that, or the title or description when it has been done. So it's a simple application where you can add more posts and you can see who has actually posted this. Now, as for normal for all um, social media applications, we have something called like button or liking the post. Let's try to enable this feature for this application. Okay, let's go for the post. Now here, let's do some magic. We'll have one more container. Okay, we can set the width of this container, and let's have some icons to show it, like to like or dislike the post. Let's use heart part. Okay, and let's add one more widget, one more icon to show it as heart, blank heart, like which is not yet liked it. So, and we can use this color as red, of course. If you're feeling confused, let ask in the Q&A. It will be easy. Like if you're getting confused with any part, ask in Q&A. We can explain it. As we don't have enough time, let's moving forward as fast as we can. Okay. Now, before starting with the post like options, we need to add these details to the database. So we'll have one more entity which is called post like. Post like. Okay. Here we'll have the attribute as post ID, and we can have user ID. So we know which post you have liked it or which doesn't like it. I mean, like it's not available. So name as post like. Okay. So we have two tables now, post and two entities we can call it as post and post like. Okay. Now we'll create a new action. Once any user like the post, it should toggle or it should be shown as a red color which is already liked, or it should be as a blank one. Toggle like. Okay. Let's post ID over here. These are the data logic tab where logic actions we're gonna add it. User ID. Now we have a toggle like action. This toggle like action, which will be like, if you like the post, it will create a new entry to the database, to this post like database or to this entity. If you dislike, you will delete it actually. So now let's go for here. Okay. Here we'll have something called, we can filter it by whether if the user is already like this post. Let's find out post ID equal to post ID, and let's add one more filtration directly user ID equal to user ID. Any questions? Okay. So this aggregate, it returns the value if you have already liked this post or not. So if it's already liked, if it is empty, see, if you can see the aggregate provides with the list of items which is returned from this aggregate, and you can see other details like current row number, length of the aggregate, it is empty or not, the total count of the values returned from this aggregate. Aggregate is something similar to the SQL which we did before, but this is the components which is provided by OutSystems. Okay, let's see. Now if it is empty, if there is one post, it doesn't, user didn't like it, so it will be empty. So if it's empty, as is the toggle action, let's create this post or like the post. Let's pass it my post ID and the user ID to this. Okay, if it is not empty, let's delete the like command from that, or like option. The user is already liked it, he dislike it, so let's make it like that. Okay, that's it, as simple as it. So now we'll use this toggle like action inside our page, the post page. How are we gonna use it? Let's take this one. Now we have the container. This container consists of two buttons, two icons. So we can link this container directly, or we can link this one directly to one action. In this action, we can call this toggle like action from here, from server action, and pass the details like post ID. So for this link on click or like on click, you need to pass which post did you like, and sir, we can take the user from that options directly. So here we'll pass this one and user as a current user. You can see over here. Okay, now this link will expect the post ID, which is the current post one. That's it. Now let's see the output. Okay, before it, let's see one more thing. Now we can see all the posts. Let's sort this post like last come first of last one. So I can directly merge or make, you can see this one, it's an aggregate. Here you can see all the SQL actions inbuilt from our systems. We can directly use it. If you want to sort it, you can use it. If you want to find the maximum of some column values or minimum or the count, whatever it is, it's already available over here. So let's have a sorting. Now we need to show the post likes actually. So we'll include that one as a source. Okay, and let's change it. Post ID, and we need to know whether the same user did this or not. Post like no, the ID user. Okay. Okay. Now let's publish it. Okay. Now let's see then output over here. Okay. Okay. Okay, now we need to add a filtration. Now we can see both icons are showing over here. We need to add a filtration to show whether this post is liked, then show this one. If it is not liked, we need to show this one. So let's go here, add an if condition, and if it is true, we'll show first icon. If it is false, it will show second icon. And from if condition, you can go to the post, you can go here, and you can take whether post ID is available, then show this one. If different from null identifier, or else you can show the next one. Okay, now let's see. Any questions as that? No questions? Okay, I think it's time up to we need to wrap up. Okay, now we published it. Let's see. Okay, it is not like, so there is an option to like it. Okay, something. If it is if it's different from null identifier, it should be shown it over there. Okay, so over here, this is for this one is false. Okay, now this one doesn't have it. We did a mistake. Let's see the output. Okay, now over here, okay, link button which will be sending the post. Okay, toggle actions, fine. Method of the post and okay. This container will show this. If it is not liked, okay, fine. Okay, fine.
Show debugging.
Yeah, we can do it. Okay, now we have the real case. This will be useful actually. Now we can see why when we click on this one, what action is happening. So we can have a debugging option. Oh, okay, I got it. So an option. This was the missing part. We need to refresh once we have the toggle button. We need to refresh it.
And since you started this, you can just show that.
Yes, yes. Let's try it. Okay, now you can see that. Once Neha liked it, it's going to be shown it. If she dislike it, it's going to be removed from here. Okay. So this is for now.
Okay.
Okay, because we had exceed the time actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything in flow, we have it, and post. Okay.
So that's all about the applications and what exciting is waiting for.
Yeah. Now we are going to give you an option to create an user for this application. We'll pass this URL in the chat. You can take this URL and you can start creating your blogs, or you can post on some posts over here. And whoever gets more like, let's give him some slacks from the
Yeah.
systems. So this is an exciting one which will be waiting for them. So you understood the application. It's a simple application. Before you finishing the post, we'll have one more widget which will be shown how many likes you got it. So we can give like 1 hour. Between that time, you can create a post, and You can like each post which you liked it. So you know how to create it. Now it's much more easier. So you can directly start using this application. Just provide it. As time is less, we couldn't show you other parts like how to distribution of applications and all the stuff. And a quick, we can show it something like this. We have the distribution part. We can enable PWA for your application, or you can generate the native applications from here. We'll make it in different sessions. We can arrange
Yes.
some other session to explain detail how we can distribute the applications.
Yeah, this is actually just an introduction part. So we'll come up with another event. Actually, you can suggest us what all topics you need to be discussed, and so that we can prepare and come up with something useful for you in the next session.
Thanks, Nawab. It was a real thing. Actually, I missed it. Okay, here is the URL for the application. Try to create some post. Let's see uh, which post gets more like.
Yeah, come on, guys, shoot, shoot.
We are waiting for the result. We can just waiting for it to see it how it's gonna look like.
Yeah, just share your user experience too. Also, like if you have time, and even you can share your user experience as a post also.
Yeah.
So, any queries?
Yeah. Meanwhile, they can ask anything, any doubts they have.
Yeah.
Anyone has any doubts or something need to be clarified? I know we are a little bit hard, like we are a little bit rush.
Harshita Shetty, one handsome session would be great,
Hmm.
where we can try out things along with you. Yeah,
Yeah, we can plan one
we
sessions
can plan one
accordingly.
session. Najla, thanks so much. Really appreciate your effort. Thank you so
Mhm.
much, dear. Like if anybody of you can pitch in and share your experience on OutSystem, like somebody who's working on OutSystem and somebody who has already worked on traditional programming languages and all, so that people who is new get motivated out of this. Ali Nawab, thanks for the session in regards to the user ID. Isn't it better to set it at server action instead of sending it as parameter from client side?
From let's say that. Why not? Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's like a demo to show it. It's better. Yeah, I agree with you. Just to make it fast, we did it in this way. But as the best practice, we have to do it in the server side. It's better always.
We can actually have one best practice session also.
Yeah.
Like we are planning like every quarter one event, so that. So thank you guys for sharing your thoughts. Any other queries? I think it's Saturday.
Everyone is
And thank you
tired.
so much. Thank you so
Thank you
much
for yeah.
accepting our invitation and join us, to support us, and I know it's a time for yourself, your family, and friends. Still, you find some time for us. Thank you so much. I think if nothing else, we can wrap.
Yeah, you can provide the feedback, and we'll wait. We'll wait for the more post. We are expecting more posts from your side. So we are ready. We are waiting to give you the slacks from our systems.
Yeah. So for the most liked post in our Instagram, so for the top three, right?
Yeah, for the
For
top
the
three.
top three, we'll be sending you OutSystem swags. Vedavalli, thanks for the session. Thank you, dear. Harshita Shetty, thank you so much. It was a great session. Thank you so much.
Thank,
Osama, thanks. Thanks, Riyas and Nehas.
thank you, Sama. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Osama.
Thanks for all to whoever attended it. I hope someone is trying to create some post. I'm waiting for it. Okay, we have the time till 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like it is almost 40 minutes more. So you can do it. And later, once we get the more like post, we'll be getting our system swags for it. Okay, let's wrap.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you all, everyone who attended. Let's meet in next session.
Yeah.
Okay.